One of the main costs that takes much of the profit from catfish farmers is the feeding. Feeding takes about 50%. That's what they tell you. Today I'm on a gentleman's farm and he's doing something unique. He's actually cutting down about 50% on cost of feed. This plant is not something, it's very strange. You can only get it in the Asian countries. And this guy has managed to bring it down here and is using it. If this is your first time, consider subscribing and hit the like button. Share for other farmers to also come and buy and cut down the cost of feeding.
So I am Josua Anim, popularly known as JAKDAM. I am the founder of JAKDAM Farms, and today we are here to talk about supplementary feed, specifically Azolla and Duckweed.
What's so unique about this plant and your experience, personal experience with it?
Okay, so the Azolla and then the Duckweed are supplementary feed used to feed all livestock. They have high protein content and they can be used to feed fishes, poultry, goats, rabbits, basically all livestock. They are high in protein content. They have protein content of about 30% to 45% depending on the condition they are being cultured in. So it's very high in protein and it's very good for feed cost reduction.
How did you come across it?
Okay, so it was introduced to me by a friend in Thailand. So he brought some samples here. I got 1 kilo of the samples, and then I've been able to culture it for 3 years. I'm selling them as well. So it's been 3 years I bought the 1 kilo and I'm still using it. Yeah.
Tell me the unique thing about it and how it has been able to last for just a kg.
Oh, okay. Just as I said earlier, they are floating aquatic plants and they have high reproduction rate. A kilo of duckweed when cultured in the right fertilization content, like fertilizer content, it can reproduce about 10 times the volume you stocked or the volume you cultured. So they are very special in terms of their growth rate, both the Azolla and then the duckweed, and they do not require any maintenance as well. Just the holding container, which will serve as the pond, and some form of fertilizer being applied. In this case, I am using poultry manure and then cow dung. So the cost of...
Wait, let's take it slow. How do you grow them?
Okay, so just as you can see here, it doesn't require much. All it requires is a holding container. That is anything that can hold water, that can retain water. You can just culture it. It's being an earthen pond or any wooden structure. You can just line it with a polythene or a tarpaulin pond. Anything at all, concrete, anything at all that can hold water. You just need to fill the pond up with water, fill the base with 1-inch layer of sand, and then just extract the fertilizer from your manure solution, which I'll show you in a while. You just fertilize the pond, have a few seedlings of Azolla or duckweed. In this case, you see the quantity on this pond. In 3 to 4 days, it should cover the entire surface area of the pond. So it multiplies rapidly. I think the duckweed is one of the fastest growing plants in the world, and it benefits on any farm, any livestock farm. It's something that you don't need to do away with it. You need to get it on your farm to reduce the production cost by reducing your feed costs. Yes.
Wait. With this duckweed, they are common in our gutters and they are very common in our fresh waters.
Yes, I've found some around, but then with the duckweed, they are very similar to a plant species also called frog bite.
Okay.
Yes, also called frog bite. The frog bite looks exactly as duckweed. They are also a floating aquatic plant in gutters. So if you don't really know the difference, you might be taking frog bite as duckweed. But duckweed is very common around, even in Ghana. You can find them in any slow moving water
Okay.
or any stagnant water. You can literally find the duckweed in. But the Azolla is a scarce. Yes,
Okay.
you can't really find it around unless you buy the seedlings and culture. Yes.
So between the two, which one is more rich in protein and preferred for the catfish?
Okay. So to compare the Azolla and the duckweed, they are all good, but then the Azolla comes with higher protein content of 25 to 40%, depending on the condition in which they are cultured. And also the Azolla has a thicker weight. Yes, the Azolla is more heavier than the duckweed, so some small amount of Azolla will fill the belly of your livestock. So this is how the Azolla looks. They look more broader. They have more
Can you
broader.
raise it?
They have more broader leaves than the duckweed, which is just the some tiny leaf. So
Okay.
if you compare this to this, you can see this is quite heavy. Yes. So that is the main difference between these two.
In terms of occupying the pond, which one does that faster?
Okay. Mixing Azolla with duckweed multiplies faster than the Azolla, but with time, because of the leaf size of the Azolla, if you should culture both in one pond, the duckweed will grow faster, cover the entire surface area, but with time the Azolla will overshadow the duckweed because of its leaf. It falls on the duckweed because of how broad it is, and deprives the duckweed from direct sunlight.
Okay.
Eventually the duckweed will reduce in numbers, and then the Azolla will take over the entire pond.
So talking about sunlight, what are the requirements for? Do they all need the same requirements?
Okay. Azolla requires 70% sunlight and 30% shade.
Okay.
So you can see how this pond is positioned right behind this building. So this building is serving as a form of shade for this Azolla.
Okay.
And then same for the duckweed. They mostly require 30% shade, 70% sunlight, and they will do well. If you have the luxury of constructing a greenhouse, that is the ideal situation. Yes.
So instead of manure, can I just use normal NPK?
Yes, they thrive on phosphorus.
Okay.
So any fertilizer with phosphorus, you can use that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So your personal experience with the two in your feeding, what have you noticed?
Okay. I started feeding them with the duckweed, so my fishes respond very well with duckweed. But then I prefer feeding them with the Azolla because of the protein content and how potent it is in overtaking the duckweed.
Okay.
Yeah, the weight of it as well. You know, catfish are not only sold by their size, but by their weight as well. So I try feeding them with the Azolla. Yeah.
Does this in any way prevent them from being carnivorous or?
No, it doesn't prevent them from being carnivorous. Just that if they have duckweed spread on their pond always, it prevents them from feeding on each other, in the sense that there is always the availability of feed for them to feed on rather than feed on themselves. So,
Well, okay. So I noticed in some of your ponds, they are this one's which fishes do you have inside this one?
okay, so I have Heterotic niloticus.
Heterotic then?
Heterotic niloticus, locally known as the African arowana, or in Ghana I think it's called Supaku. Yes, Supaku. Yes,
Okay.
but it's called Heterotic niloticus. So this pond, I'm practicing polyculture in this pond. I have Heterotic niloticus and tilapia in this pond. I will be soon adding catfish to the pond as well, but you need to observe how they behave before going into polyculture.
So do you feed them? Because it seems there's no activity.
Yes, the Heterotic niloticus normally prefer to stay under the water, like deep down the water. They prefer deep
waters.
Yes, so they are always revolving around, swimming around the bottom of the ponds. So that is it.
Okay. And
So
I can see you have another species.
Oh, okay. These are, I have water lettuce, and then water lentil and water lily. I have so many aquatic plants in there. Yes.
And all this is cutting down cost.
Yeah, they are cutting down cost, and also helps in maintaining good water parameters. Like it improves on your water condition by sucking excess ammonia and other chemical parameters that your fish doesn't really need. So it sucks out the nitrates, and then the ammonia.
Okay. So how much do you sell them? Do you sell them in the first place?
Yes, I do sell Azolla and then the Duckweed. I also have another plant called Wofia in my other farm. So, but I literally sell the Azolla a kilo for 100 cedis.
Just 100 cedis?
Yes, 100 cedis, just
for
a kilo.
Everlasting life.
Yes, so you buy a kilo, you take care of it. Within 7 days, you should get around 10 kilos. And from there, you can start harvesting each and every day. So just 100 cedis, you can keep it for more than 10 years, even more than 10 years if you wish to keep it. I bought mine 4 years ago, and I'm still using it.
Wait. So how do you transport this without them dying?
Oh, they are very robust. You just have to keep it wet. You scoop, put it in a polythene, and then make sure that it is a bit wet. Add some form of water to it. It will do well. It can be transported even from Accra to Tamale. Yes, even outside Ghana, it can be transported.
Does it need any special weather, like the people up north?
Yes, you have to control the temperature a bit, in the sense that if you are in the northern region, if I am using a pond with a depth of, okay, let me explain this to you. Azolla requires a pond with depth of more than 6 inches. Anything above 6 inches, it will do well.
Okay.
So if you want to culture Azolla in the northern region, we all know how hot the northern region is. The temperature is very high there. So instead of me using 1 feet pond depth in culturing the Azolla, I might increase it to, let's say, 1.5 feet to help keep the temperature a bit on a low. Yeah. But it will do well in the northern region. I have people that I've sent to the northern region, Tamale, Wa, and it's doing well. Yeah.
In constructing this this pond, what materials did you use?
Okay, the first thing you need to consider is that you are doing this to reduce your cost of production. So you don't need to go fancy unless you want to go fancy with it. That is why I am using this polythene. And this polythene doesn't cost more than
30 cedis?
30 cedis per yard. No.
Okay.
So you can just construct any size that you want. This is just a waste wood that I found around my farm, and I'm using it to hold the polythene. Yes. So you don't need to go fancy, because the main idea of culturing this is not an let's say ornamental plant or something.
Okay.
You are just trying to reduce the cost of production. So going fancy will increase your expenditure on this construction. We also sell tarpaulin, cheap tarpaulins that we've constructed with galvanized pipe and then thick tarpaulin ponds for sale for culturing Azolla. So I'll show you a sample of that.
How much does it cost?
Just 1,300 Ghana cedis, and then that will last a lifetime too. Yeah.
Okay.
The dimensions are 10 feet by 10 feet. I think somewhere twice this container, and it's collapsible. You just disassemble it, send it to wherever location you want, assemble it back. Yeah.
Okay. If you are having, let's say, 10,000 capacity catfish, how many of this size do you need?
10,000 capacity.
Yeah.
For this size, this is about 5 feet by 6 feet. So it require you to build about 20 to 30 of them. That is, if you are using it to cut down your production cost, you need about 20. But with the ones I'm selling, you also require around 18 of it, that you can harvest around 15 kg every 3 days.
Okay. can other animals, like, well, your experience, which other animals also feed very well?
Okay, apart from fishes,
Apart
I
from
think
fishes,
I've tried it on
poultry.
poultry. They pick it very well. Duck, okay, sorry, rabbit, grass cutter also feed on it. Goat, sheep, literally all livestock feed on Azolla. You just have to condition them. Even with the fishes, if you are already into your production cycle and you introduce the Azolla or Duckweed, they might reject it at some point in time, but what you do is to literally condition them, starve them for a day, mix it with the pelleted feed, and then feed them with it. From there, they will start eating it. So you just have to condition your livestock, but they will eat everything.
In formulating feed, can you try this? And
Yes, I tried drying my Azolla, and I earlier mentioned that Azolla on the dry basis can contain around 45% crude protein. So you just have to dry the Azolla or the duckweed and then use it as a replacement for the expensive soya bean fish meal that we use in producing fish feeds. So in place of fish meal or soya bean, you can also use the Azolla.
but this does not mean you don't feed them with the normal feed.
No. You cannot go solely feeding your fishes with Azolla. The reason is that if you are culturing the fish to consume yourself, you have no problem. You can go solely Azolla. But if you are doing this on commercial base, you have to mix it with the pelleted feed in the sense that the Azolla does not contain all the required nutrients that your fish needs to achieve optimum growth. In the sense that if you feed them with only Azolla, they might have the size, but then not the weight, because Azolla has no traces of carbohydrate or whatsoever in them. Okay. So fishes also require carbohydrates, other minerals and vitamins as well to achieve optimum growth. So you can't go solely Azolla. No, it is not advisable. I tried that once, and then my fishes, I realized that in 3 months they were big in size, but then their weight was very low.
Very low.
Yes.
Okay. What is the ordering process like?
Okay, so you just contact us through our social media handles or through my phone number 0248 570441, and then the package will be sent to you.
Well, what is your handle on
JAKDAM
YouTube?
Farms on YouTube, JAKDAM Farms on Instagram, JAKDAM Farms on TikTok, JAKDAM Farms on Facebook, yes.
Okay. And show us the fertilization.
Okay, sure. So this is poultry manure that I got from the poultry, and this is how I mix it. You just dump the manure here, pour some form of pour water on it, and then try to stir it a bit.
For how long do you leave it?
Just about 6 hours will do good, just to soak it up. Okay. Then you extract the solution out of it. You extract the solution and just dump it in your pond. You do this every 2 weeks and you are good.
Every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
What happens if you fail to?
Okay, you can even decide to do it every week or every 3 weeks. You just have to observe the growth rate of the duckweed, how rapidly they are reproducing.
Okay.
So you just look at that, and then it tells you whether to refertilize or just leave it.
Another important thing, does it need any special water, like fresh water, or any water would do?
No, Azolla and duckweed are freshwater species, so it doesn't really do well in salt water. Yes. Okay. So any water at all.
Pipe water.
Any pipe-borne water, any river.
Okay.
Or any source of water that doesn't really contain salt, it will do well.
Your setup. What is your main source of water?
I'm using the commercial water supply, Ghana water. Yes.
Okay. How expensive is it? Expensive here? Is it reliable?
Yeah, it's reliable. But then I'm using a recirculating aquaculture system, remember, and then the other ponds are also earthen ponds.
Okay.
So I get to only change water maybe in 3 months.
Okay.
And I think there is one thing I want to show you.
Okay.
I also have this setup here. This is a tilapia setup. I'm culturing tilapia here without water change. So as you can see, I have about 200 fishes here. I'm looking to divide them into different ponds, 50-50. So what I basically do here is to introduce probiotics into this system. So you can culture fish in the pond for about 1 year, 1.5 years without water change. So this is about 3 weeks water. And you can see it's still doing well. There's no smell coming out of this pond. This is because the probiotics are breaking down the waste in this pond.
Wait, so I can just go into any pharmacy and buy probiotics?
No. These are special probiotics made for aquaculture purposes.
Okay.
So this is a brand that I am using, BioClean Aquaculture. I'm again advertising for someone free. So BioClean probiotics.
Okay.
We combine 3 of them. So if you are interested,
come for training.
Yes. Because the producer produces the the probiotics, but then you as a farmer have to, conduct some form of experiment on it to work for you. Yes, so it's a good product.
This is just for demo.
Yes, this is something that I tried. We've tried it for catfish and it's working. My other farm, I've tried it for catfish. I've used it for catfish production the entire 6 months without water change. But this is something new because we all know the requirements of tilapia. They require quality water, high standard oxygen content. But then with the probiotics, you can see my aerator is off. I've not really changed the water as well, and they are doing well. The mortality rate is sitting at 0.5%.
Okay.
Yeah. And we are looking to improve it, yes. If it were to be for catfish, I'm not sure I'm going to record any mortality at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So your final message to anyone who is really interested in starting?
Okay. So if you wish to set up an Azolla pond, you can contact JAKDAM Farms. We have Azolla seedlings, we have Duckweed, we have warfare, we also have water lily, water lentil, water lettuce available. You just call us and then we will. If you don't know anything about supplementary feeds, you just call us that I am into production of fish, I am into production of poultry, but my production cost is killing me. My feed cost is killing me, and we will suggest one supplementary feed to you. And as well, if you are interested in fish farming, we do farm setups, we sell tarpaulin ponds, we sell farm inputs. Just call us. Whatever you need about aquaculture, just call me and then.
So Joshua, you are a senior brother in this field. If there is any one advice for the babies coming, the younger ones coming, what would that advice be?
I would say don't overlook the importance of getting a formal training. Yes, I always stress on this because this is a common mistake that most people do, not getting the required training before starting production, and it really affects your production cycle. So get the formal training, and I recommend myself, JAKDAM Farms, to you. We are a team, and we always ensure that anyone that registers for our training gets the utmost best out of their money. So do well. Just spending 500 Ghana cedis, 1,000 Ghana cedis for a formal training rather than losing millions of Ghana cedis, thousands of Ghana cedis in your production. It doesn't really
make sense.
Well, yes. So it's better you get the formal training, start your production, be dedicated, and you will thrive. Yeah.
All the 3 farms can take about 250 cattle. These 2 can take about 200 cattle. The one here can take about 50 cattle. So all the 3 farms running at full capacity can handle 250 cattle. Yeah.